How you doing, everybody?
This is the most enthusiastic.
How are you doing, everybody? All right, I'll take it.
They'll do it for you. You should see me all day. I'm up here like, please give me anything. And they ignore me.
That's all right, it happens.
It happens to the best of us. Yeah, they're on their phones, they're emailing and stuff like that. You might be wondering why Judah's here. One, because we asked him and he's awesome and he decided to say yes. Two, because he's been working on a little project. Judah, do you want to tell him about it or you just want to show him?
Yeah, well, we can talk about it for a second. No, I did a web series for The Onion and for TechCrunch. And it's about AI technologies, and it's me interviewing these different AI creators and startups. And, you know, it's basically, are the robots going to take over from the humans, or are we going to fight back and win? And
fight back.
Here's, I guess you're going to show a little
Yeah, let's show a trailer.
Judah versus the machines.
They say machines are getting more intelligent by the day. But what if they aren't? I'm Judah Friedlander. Today I'm in San Francisco. I'm here at the University of Miami. I'm here at Facebook, an up-and-coming website. I'm meeting the world's smartest artificial intelligence robots. I will challenge them for the sake of humanity. It cheated.
Oh, okay.
To determine once and for all who is the smartest.
Does this thing like take off or anything?
It looks like it would, but it doesn't.
What happens when you lose to a robot?
And I will win.
I think your mouth is a bit off.
Correct.
I feel incredible.
Because otherwise, we're screwed. Did I break him? Judah versus the machines. Coming soon to TechCrunch.
Yeah. I know TechCrunch is super amped about this. It's going to go live on May 22nd and live on the site.
At TechCrunch.
At TechCrunch.com. Yeah, yeah.
Check it out. Cool.
Yeah, you're going to have to visit the site.
It was fun to do. We did 8 episodes, and we filmed for about a week in San Francisco and the Bay Area, Silicon Valley there. And then we did actually
Boston, right?
In Miami.
You didn't go to Boston?
We were going to, but then we went to Miami and
a little switcheroo.
Interviewed some one company that does all facial recognition, and yeah, a lot of people don't know this. I mean, here they might, but in New York City now, when you're in a taxi cab, there's a TV in the back, and it's a really annoying TV because it's loud and it's the same little videos over and over again. But what the TV's actually doing is tracking your face and how you respond to the commercials, so that it knows how old you are, what your gender is, and it knows how you're responding to the commercials. So it's really all about making money. So
are you fake newsing?
No, I'm completely serious. So all the cabs, the TVs are doing that. They're tracking you because that way it's marketing. They know who's doing
sentiment, etc.
Yeah. So and I didn't know that, but
I didn't either.
The series, I learned that. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was cool to, you know, do funny stuff, and it's mostly there was a production team from The Onion who produced it.
Yeah.
And basically got together with them, and we kind of co-wrote it, and a lot of it is just improvised on the spot. But it was fun to like meet all these different people, you know, computer scientists, as well as the people who are starting their own startups, and it was just really cool to interact and meet with a lot of really smart people and motivated people, you know, from all types, from business entrepreneurs to, you know, PhD scientists, and it was a lot of fun. And I think people will like it. I mean, it's a little educational, but it's also
super funny. Yeah, I've seen it, and I can vouch for that it is hilarious. What was your experience level with like AI and robots before doing this?
Not much. I'm not really that great with technology stuff, so I'm all about Team Human. But the robots are taking over, and in some ways I'm for it. Some ways I'm against it. Self-driving cars, I'm for it. I think humans have proved they're pretty bad drivers over the years. I'm all for giving AI technology a chance for driving cars.
Yeah, but like, okay, if you think about, you're saying, okay, I'm sometimes in favor of AI and sometimes I'm against it. Like, who is the ultimate regulatory body for like what does and does not progress?
That's an excellent question, and I think robots are also being set up to be the most discriminated class of beings. I mean, we live in a very racist, sexist society.
Yeah.
It permeates the structures of the nation, and robots are the next in line to be discriminated against.
But like robots aren't people.
Yeah, but they're workers, and they're taking away people's jobs, and they're not getting any benefits.
Except for having the job.
Yeah.
They don't have any feelings.
I don't know. Some of these robots I met were pretty cool.
You thought they had feelings?
Yes, I did. Yeah, there's a robot Relay who works at this hotel.
The hotels,
Crowne
yeah.
Plaza in Milpitas in San Jose, and let's say, so if you're in your hotel room and you're like, oh, I forgot my toothbrush to pack that, then you call down to the hotel and they're like, hey, we'll bring one up to you. Instead, they'll send Relay the robot, and he'll come up there and deliver your thing. And I'm like, does
you feel
Relay,
bad for Relay?
Well, I'm like, yeah, does Relay get tips? And they're like, no, but he likes tweets. And I'm like, well, tweets doesn't pay anything, you know. So yeah, they work a lot.
But he doesn't have to spend any money.
I don't know.
He has no cost like humans do.
If you met him, I think you would retract.
It's not a him, it's a it.
Cool guy. He's a cool guy.
So you feel attached to the robots you met.
Dude, man, I tried to set him free, but I tried to break him out, but his master reprogrammed him to go, because he programs his, it's like GPS technology, and he only has it of the whole hotel. He doesn't have it of the rest of the San Jose area.
You would just get lost.
So, yeah, he's lost immediately. As soon as he gets off the hotel property, he doesn't know where he is.
So it sounds like Relay was your favorite robot that you met.
He was very cool, and he's kind of imprisoned, you know, and he's a great worker. But
I'm incredulous right now. I'm having a hard time. Sounds like you're not going to budge. So if you want him to have feelings, he can have feelings.
Yeah.
That's fine. You are the world champ. You get to decide these things. What about like what kind of AI are you worried about? You said you're all for self-driving cars. What are you against?
I think surveillance is a little creepy, you know.
Do you think there's any value in it?
I guess, but I think most, you know, government and corporations will not use it for good things. They'll overreach and invade privacy. And
As
stuff
they're
like
wont to do.
that. You know, yeah. So.
Okay, I know that you were having fun on the show, and you say you're Team Human, but like, given that you didn't have as much experience with AI and robots before this, and you really did get to go in depth with these guys and talk to the people who are actually making it, like, is there do you have a genuine fear of the rise of technology?
No, I have a varying degrees mix of interest and lack of interest. But I think people, just like New York City, you know, this used to be a town that was known for being blunt and upfront. And over the years, it's become a passive-aggressive kind of a city. And people have become more fake. And I think technology has some, it's not the whole play, but it has some play in that.
Really?
And like, just like, you know, pedestrians used to be known for walking fast. But now everyone is looking at their phones. Nobody walks fast anymore. It's a very slow walking.
Or they're walking fast with their phones and bumping into you.
Well, some people do that, but they're usually walking slow.
Yeah. And so you just want...
I think it's sped people's lives up in some areas, but slowed them down in some other areas. I don't think people are as good at being able to have a conversation as they used to.
For sure.
You know, they're the sort of, you know, the art of small talk, the art of flirtation is lost in many ways. You have an app that does so many things for you, so then people don't use their own ingenuity enough. But then it can also be an amazing aid in so many areas and increase things.
Right, like it opens up your entire world, right? Like the world is so much smaller now because you can essentially find anyone on the internet.
Yeah, well, you know, for activism, I do a lot of, I'm, you know, very progressive, do a lot of activism. It's very good.
Right.
But then, you know, it's also, it's also bad in a sense depending on where you stand. You know, I mean the rise of the the alt-right and all that stuff, that's also due to the internet. You know they're
Of course.
like basically like neo-Nazi activists. So they've risen too. But that's part of what social media does.
Well, and like life,
for
you
everyone.
win some, you lose some, right? Like,
I guess so. I don't know. But again, in this show, it's me versus the AI technology. And,
right.
I think I have a pretty good record. I don't know if it was 100%, but I had a pretty good record.
You did.
Yeah.
I think you came out victorious on the whole, if I'm
Yeah, I
remembering
think so,
correctly.
too. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
it's
safe for
great.
now.
What's that?
We're safe for now.
Yeah. But it was really, I think people will like it, and it was certainly a lot of fun to do. It wasn't something I was planning on doing. Stand-up comedy is my main thing, has always been my main thing. I've done a lot of acting over the years, a lot of writing, but the whole past year I've been working on a new stand-up documentary performance film.
Yeah.
It's called America is the Greatest Country in the United States. And it's basically a satire on American exceptionalism as well as U.S. domestic and foreign policy. And I was filming some last year, I was just starting to, and this project came about. And I basically got an email saying, hey, The Onion wants you to do this web series, and it's about robotics and AI technology, and it's for TechCrunch. And
You were like, what's TechCrunch?
yeah, I didn't know what TechCrunch was.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I thought I'd give you that plug today. I didn't
Appreciate
know.
that.
Now I know about it. So no, just being honest. But so it sounded very interesting to me, and I'm like, I'm a fan of the work that The Onion does, so it was a pretty easy thing for me to say yes to. And then I talked to the writer they had and the director, and when you're making comedy, a lot of it comes down to taste.
Right.
When you're talking to a director and the writer, it's like, are you on the same page, basically, comedically? Because sometimes when you're on a project, you might do lots of great takes, and then the director or producer will use
The one
all
you
the
hated.
shitty
Yeah.
takes, or like they might have it scripted and it stinks, and they bring you on saying, hey, we want you to just improvise a lot of stuff, and you're like, great, and then they use none of that. They just use the original shitty script.
Right.
So this was not one of those cases. So this was a real treat and a lot of fun to do.
So it sounds like Relay was your favorite robot, but do you have a favorite memory from what was your favorite actual experience? There were 8 challenges.
Yeah. Just talking, really, I like talking to the PhD students who who do robotics, and going for their PhD in robotics as well as their professors. I just found that stuff really interesting. And there was a professor at this university in Miami, and you saw a little bit of it in the trailer.
Yeah.
He's basically, they have a soccer team that's all robots, and it's very interesting. There's so many things we do as human beings right now. Like right now, you're looking at me, you're hearing what I'm saying, you're processing it, you're looking at my facial gestures to try to understand everything.
Right.
You're sitting in a chair, your feet are on the ground. Those are all things that we're constantly processing. Well, the guys who do the robotics, they have to program all that stuff into robots so they can just move around. So you realize just like people are walking down the hallway right now and then sitting down, it's a carpet, and then the seat might be made out of vinyl. Those are all things that affects a robot when a robot is moving around.
Right.
He has to analyze every single one of those things constantly. So the people who are designing these robots, I remember, so the soccer field, it was a certain type of turf, and he was saying how when you put it on a different kind of turf, the robots can't really move right because they have trouble processing it. I'm like, well, why don't you just go back to that one turf that works? Then he says, no, that's not the point.
They have
the
to
point
learn.
is to be able to program these robots and use algorithms so that they can start thinking for themselves, and they can analyze what the different surfaces are, etc. So that I found really interesting, and that's one of the things that gets discussed throughout the web series, is how the AI technology can learn from its own trial and error mistakes, and so in a way actually do some thinking. And so I don't know, it was fascinating, I thought.
Well, and like you say, your favorite thing is to talk to these students, right? The people who are actually building the tech itself.
Yeah.
And like, part of the fear, I think, that whole like matrix, robots take over the world fear is like embedded in the idea that like we don't necessarily know the people who are creating this tech, but you got to talk to them one-on-one. Like on the whole, did you feel like the intent was good?
Yeah, I did, definitely.
And not like financial or...
I mean, these are people who are, and it's not, I don't think the people who are going into it are doing it, to become billionaires. The people who are working in, the scientists working in robotics, but it's fascinating things. And it's really, what you're really doing is becoming a detective and analyzing how human beings think and then try to recreate that in a robot, which is fascinating. You don't realize how many things, I mean, even here, I don't know, there's probably 200 people here, and I don't know, maybe 20% are listening, others aren't, but everyone is doing so many things at once, and then figuring out how do you program that, and then make something actually start, almost become like a life form and think for themselves. I think it's fascinating. Yeah.
So it sounds a bit like you started out on Team Human, and it was Judah versus machines, and now you're very much advocating, it sounds like, for robots and AI.
We gotta work together. We're all ultimately the same team. Everyone's the same team ultimately. If everyone's just compartmentalized into different areas, then we're always enemies, and there's always going to be someone oppressing someone else. So you gotta, fight for each other and love each other, I guess.
So, good. That was a good message. You can clap for that, I feel like. Right? Yeah, love. I want to ask you just a couple things about yourself, given that we have like a super techie audience here.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a favorite app or a favorite, shout out to one of the entrepreneurs?
Well,
here?
I actually like maps. I've always liked maps.
Like
I like
just
looking at
cartography.
I like looking at maps. Yeah, I like seeing, which way roads go, and you can actually go this way and stuff. So I do enjoy using the map apps, Waze or Google Maps, and just, because often you think, this is the best way to get there, and then you look at things and you're like, you can also go this way, and I just find that interesting. Yeah.
Will you explain to me what Judah World Champ's all about?
Well, that's Judah World Champ is my
it's your Twitter handle and your handle
Facebook,
across the board.
Instagram.
But
handle.
why? Like, are you the
world
champion of anything?
thing. Well, the world champion, moniker, if you will, is that's a theme that's been throughout my stand-up act for I don't know, probably over 15 years. And initially, it was basically a satire on narcissism,
right,
and how, as a culture and a society, America, as well as much of the world, is very self-centered. So it was initially satirizing people who are braggarts and very self-centered. That was initially, and then it sort of morphed into, and I would do jokes about all kinds of outlandish physical achievements. Bowling a 300, using a ping pong ball, etc., and breaking all these ridiculous world records. And then it kind of morphed into that these are not brags, these are actually real achievements. So almost being like a real life superhero, and sort of, subliminally, talking about why, as human beings, we feel the need to have heroes. Why do we even idolize people? And then the past like 6-7 years, about 6-7 years ago, I started doing stand-up shows overseas, throughout Europe. And you know how if you've ever been in a bad relationship, you can't see it, but all your friends are like, why are you with that person? They're terrible to you.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, you're out of the relationship, and then you're like, wow, how did I not see that? So when something's happening to you, you don't have the distance to step away and actually see what's going on.
Right.
So when I started doing shows in Europe, I initially thought I was going to be learning more about those countries, but I actually started learning more about my own country. I was always into politics and human rights, but when I started doing shows over there, I really started to see America. So the world champion has become even more as in exactly what it says. It's not. The persona is a person who is a champion of the world, and the rights of the people, the plants, and the animals and atmosphere in and throughout the world, and sticking up for them. So that's what it's kind of morphed into. And the bulk of the stand-up that I've been doing the past 6 years, like I said, is satire on, you know, American exceptionalism and our domestic and foreign policy.
Well, I mean, we're making it great again, so.
So.
We have like no time left, so I want to ask one more question, and it's about the show. As a new, you know, pseudo expert in AI and robotics, you have a bunch of entrepreneurs that raise your hand if you're an entrepreneur in the audience.
Cool.
0. Oh, a bunch of them. And like, what message would you leave with these guys in terms of like, you're building for us, you're building to make money as well. Like, what is the message you leave them with?
Well, I say keep going and fight for what you want to do, and you know, be honest, but fight hard and fight honest. And I think, you know, people creating new things that's one of the most important things you can do. You know, is you know, creating new experiences. That's what makes the world keep moving forward. You know, not just not that there's anything wrong with working for someone else, but starting your own thing is fantastic, and it takes a lot of courage and a lot of work. So I'd say, no matter how hard it is, don't get discouraged. Keep doing that. I mean,
absolutely.
That's what I'm always trying to do, no matter what I'm doing, is, you know, creating things and moving forward.
Awesome. Well, we cannot wait for Judah versus the Machines and all
When
of the
does it
stuff.
start, you said?
May 22nd, next week,
22nd.
Monday.
At TechCrunch.com.
That's where
it
you find it.
I think people will like it. It's short and funny episodes. I think people will dig it.
Yeah, maybe you'll start reading TechCrunch. That would be cool.
I'll check it out.
All right, everyone, Judah.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.